Dr. Youssef Chouhoud, thank you so much for joining the Double Take podcast. Like we usually do with our guests, we're going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
You can't quantify them, qualify them. You can't do a serious research. You got to answer within 10 seconds,
Just
like a
straight
good
up. I like
respondent
it.
to any of your surveys.
Yes.
Okay. First question: your favorite qari of the Quran? An easy one.
That have to be Sheikh Al-Ajmi. I have very, very fond memories of hearing his recitations when I was younger, which I think is pretty much the default answer everybody gives, right? It's whoever
Look,
you would listen to
I
when you
haven't
were
heard
young.
I haven't heard Ahmed Al-Ajmi for a long time,
Yeah.
but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you were to have dinner with one person who is alive, who would it be, and why?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Uh, oh man, y'all are catching me off guard here.
I'll come
Dinner
back
with
to it. I'll ask you.
yes, yes.
I'll
All
ask
right.
you I'll ask you an easier one. If
Okay.
you were to have dinner with someone who's passed away, and it can't be
Uh,
the Prophet ﷺ, who would it be?
I mean, that's probably an easy one too. Well, so I'm gonna have to give two. It would be my mom and my father. Allah yarhamhum.
Allah yarhamhum ya
Um,
Rabb.
yeah, I lost them when I was at that age. You know, when you were just about to kind of get into the point where you become like friends with your parents, and they're not just your
Oh, okay.
parents. I lost them right at that age, and so that was a real bummer. But you know, obviously, qadar Allah. So you know, having a dinner with them and just kind of catching up would be great.
Allah yarhamhum ya Rabb. If you were, okay, an easy one.
Mm.
A book. What was the last book that you read?
Uh, Man, they all bleed together. Well, actually, the last book that I read, because I just wrote a review of this book, was "Outsiders at Home" by Nazida Leshwardi, and it is actually on American Muslims and on how Islamophobia informs the perception of Muslims among the mass public, and how Islamophobia also kind of conditions the access that Muslims have to the American public sphere. So, highly recommended. Very well written book.
Let's say you get the author to your home and you're going to invite him for a breakfast.
Mm.
What's the ideal breakfast in your mind?
Man, I mean, it's my ideal breakfast, so honestly, like I don't care who else is eating it with me, but it's full iskandarani, and I make it better than anybody else that you've ever had. So full, for those who don't know, and pity onto you if you don't know,
And
is
when
is 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 this fava bean dish that is common in Egypt, but I make it in the Alexandrian style, and so you have kind of
which
onions and
like
and peppers.
when in doubt, more cumin is basically
Yes,
your answer.
well, yes, yes, yes. There really isn't kind of like an upper limit, honestly, but it's to each their own.
Fair enough. And the last question: when I say the following statement,
Mm.
what comes to mind? Embarrassing masjid moment.
Sing masjid moments. Uh, well, I had my I had my. So this is like like a stupid American moment. I was in Egypt, and it was time for prayer, and me being stupid American, I was wearing like my Timberland boots in a less well-to-do area of Egypt. And you can probably guess what happened. Those boots, went on the feet of somebody else other than me on the way out. And so I had to kind of, borrow somebody's flip flops, and I wore those flip flops back home. And that was a bit of an embarrassing moment. I should have known better, but yeah.
So
Hey.
I have to come back to you with an experience that's very, very similar. The
Mm,
first time I ever went to Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, I
mm,
went on Hajj. I was probably around 18. I went with a friend, and So we thought, okay, it's Mecca. No one's going to steal. No one's going to borrow. No one's, And so we literally put our thongs. We later learned that you need to kind of wrap them, put them somewhere safe, or just keep them in your bag. We put our flip flops or thongs, basically right at the road, just as you enter the marble part
Okay.
of kind of the courtyard of the mosque. So it was my friend and I. We came back and we didn't find anything. But literally 3 days later, or 4 or 5 days later, we're in the mall and we see someone wearing the exact. So it wasn't mine, but it was my mate's, and he's like, a gym junkie, and he runs to this guy and starts pulling his flip flops off the guy because he had written his name on it. So anyway,
oh, he had the evidence.
he had the evidence. So that was my embarrassing mosque moment with regards to flip flops. Dr. Youssef Chouhoud, Jazakallah khair, and inshallah we'll see you next time on Double Take.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, Assalamu alaikum.